What's going on, everybody? I am JD. She is Lady M. We are the S3 podcast. Today is NFL edition. We're talking NFL, maybe a little college football here in a little bit. But before we do all that, let's as always give a shout out to our main sponsor at Heroes Media Group. For more information on how to launch your podcast and your brand, please go to www.heroesmediagroup.com. On today's show, we're going over the Week 12 NFL schedule. We're going to go ahead and give our pick six locks of the week. As always, I'm also breaking down my DraftKings DFS build for Thursday night's game between the Seahawks and the Cowboys. And it's conference championship weekend for college football. We'll discuss Power 5 matchups. And we're also going to do a little NFL yard sailing. Is that how you say it? Is it like if you're going to a yard sale, if you're going to do yard sales, is it called yard sailing?
Sure. It is now.
I don't know. When was the last time you went to a yard sale?
Oh, gosh, it's been ages. Well, maybe not that long. Maybe like 6 or 7 years.
I think the last one I went to was like with my parents.
They're fun, but I'm not going to get up at 6 a.m. on a Saturday to go rummage
or a Sunday, right?
Crap, so.
Well, we're going to do that virtually. We're going through the NFL neighborhood. We got 5 or 6 stops we might do. There's 5 or 6 yard sales out there. We'll see if we're going to stop and make an offer or we're just going to keep on driving. So we'll check that out. But what's first?
Headlines and Yo Mama.
Yo mama. Headline number 1, Colts running back Jonathan Taylor had thumb surgery today, which means he could miss 2 to 3 weeks. Fantasy players, if Zach Moss is still available, pick him up now. That's like deja vu or deja me, because I swear to God, I've already said that once this season.
At least once.
Yeah, because he was out at the beginning of the season with an ankle injury.
Right.
But that ankle injury was healed miraculously by a big-ass contract. Right. And then he came back. Oh, I'm good to go. I could play today. What? Well, he's back down again, this time with a thumb. I don't think money's going to help this one come back.
No.
All right, first joke. What do you got?
All right. I got to look at it because I don't remember stuff very well. Yo Mama is so fat. I took a picture of her last Christmas and it is still printing.
Ooh, damn.
I picked that one because of Christmas.
Damn. Headline number 2, Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin says TJ Watt is, quote, the best defensive player on the planet right now. Watt is currently tied with Daniel Hunter with 13 and a half sacks. You know me, how I like to do counterpoint. If that's your point, counterpoint. Cowboys cornerback Deron Bland leads the league with 7 interceptions and has returned 5 of them for touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah, I may put him ahead of Mr. Watt, given that Watt has or is tied with another player and has multiple players within a half a sack behind him. To me, that doesn't say best defensive player on the planet. That says one of the best.
Right.
It doesn't say best. But if you're a cornerback and you have 7 interceptions and you've ran back 5 of them for touchdowns,
that is pretty impressive.
Pretty damn good. Yeah. I'd say that's the best right now. Right? All right, here we go. Speaking of Christmas, Yo Mama's so short, she went to see Santa, and he told her to get her ass back to work. All right. Headline number 3. Patriots offensive coordinator Bill O'Brien says the plan is to have Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi compete in practice to see who will be the starter this week against the Chargers. Week 12. And this is where we're at. We are having quarterback competitions to see who should start. That's one of the reasons why I have banished Mac Jones from directly in front of the camera. He's in the corner right now. Ladies and gentlemen, if anybody out there has supported Mac Jones for the last 3 years, I don't know if anybody's done it bigger than me because I've had him front and center, both jerseys. blue and red, like in front of the camera. I've been swearing by him, give him a chance. Right now, you know what? Sometimes you're just tired of your kid's shit. You got to put them in the corner, send them to their rooms.
He needs to think about what he's done.
By the way, there's two things that I can't stand, right? I'm not a parent. I don't have any kids. God's pretty damn smart. Let's just say that. I don't like timeouts, and I can't stand participation trophies. Like if my kid came home with a trophy for placing 7th, I would throw it away. Like for real. I don't care if I made him cry for a week. You finished 7th out of 7 teams, and they gave you a trophy. Go away. All right. No, don't do it. No, I don't like it. Moving on. All right. Your joke. Go.
Yo mama's so stupid. She put quarters in her ears, 2 quarters in her ears, and she thought she was listening to 50 Cent.
I like that one. All right. Headline number 4, Carolina Panthers. In case you haven't heard it, if you haven't, where the hell have you been? They have fired their head coach, Frank Reich. This is the 2nd straight year Carolina has fired their head coach in the middle of the schedule.
Yeah, it hasn't done anything to help them so far.
Yeah, but who would want that job now? Who would want that job? Seriously, hey, this mess is now yours. You have 10 games to fix it.
The only people that are going to take that kind of a job are the people that are going to end up being fired the next season.
Yeah.
In the middle of the season. They're not going to get somebody.
Come on, man. Let him finish it. Let him give you some feedback on the things he would do differently or the type of personnel he would want on his team. Bill Parcells has a famous quote that basically says, if you're going to make me cook the dinner, at least let me shop for some of the groceries. Right? Like none of these were on him. Yeah. None of them.
Sorry, someone's at the door. Apparently, I'll step aside for a minute.
All right, you step aside for a second. All right, so she's going to step aside, but I'm going to keep going. So, all right, here's the final Yo Mama joke. Yo Mama's so fat, she wakes up on both sides of the bed. Probably a good thing that she's not on right now because she probably wouldn't like that one. Her mom's cool. Let's just say that. All right, coming up next, we got first quarter. We are going yard sailing. We're doing yard sales. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to drive around the neighborhood, the NFL neighborhood here, and we're going to basically just do what you do when you're going to yard sales, and you're going to drive around and see if there's anything that you like. If there is something that you like, then you will probably pull over, and then you will go ahead and make an offer. Now, I swear to God, that kid wasn't mine. I don't know what he said to you, but he may have looked Korean. I don't care. It wasn't mine. Who was at the door?
Walk into? That was an awkward sentence to come back to. Here's them explaining.
Who's at the door? How dare you disturb us at 3:00? Are we at the age right now where, like, when the phone rings and it's like 6:00, like, who the hell is calling us at this hour?
You're gonna be happy when you see what it is.
Oh, today's show might get cut short. Who knows? We may have some technical difficulties. All right, so we're going yard sailing. We're in the first quarter. We're going yard sailing. So basically, as I was explaining to our listeners, we're going to drive around the NFL neighborhood. There's 4 or 5, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I saw 5 signs that said yard sales for certain teams. I'm going to ask you if you want to stop and pull over and make a bid on what we're seeing in their yard, or we can move on to the next yard. So the first yard we come across, it's the Patriots yard. We're pulling in front of the Patriots yard sale. They got some stuff out there. Hey, it looks like they've got a 2021 Mac Jones out there. Basically, he's drastically declined since his Pro Bowl rookie season at probably no fault of his own, to be honest with you. All right,
Yeah.
let's discuss this just for a second. All right, Mac Jones comes into the Patriots 2021. He's got Josh McDaniels, who sucks as the head coach. Damn good offensive coordinator, though. He goes to the Pro Bowl. He's got Pro Bowl numbers his rookie season, and the Patriots are back in the playoffs after only being absent from it for a year, right? Because Cam Newton couldn't take them. So Mac Jones plays pretty damn good. He goes to the Pro Bowl. Patriots go to the playoffs with him as a rookie. They get eliminated in the wild card, but they still win, right? And then the following season, Bill Belichick, in all of his greatness, decides to take two idiots off the street who have never been offensive coordinators and says, you're in charge of the offense. And I believe that completely just threw him off, and he's been in decline for the last 2 years. Right?
Yeah.
Even an offensive genius like Bill O'Brien, and he is in the last 20 years, the majority of the best offenses the Patriots have had him as play caller.
Right.
All right. So I think that last year screwed him up so bad, and he now feels all the pressure from Patriot fans.
I think a lot of it is crumbling under the pressure. Like, he's not handling it's a lot of losing. That's a lot to take for anybody's ego.
Right. Like, he went from winning to even winning his rookie season. So last year was his first time where he really started to feel the pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see Mac Jones out front of the Patriots household, and he doesn't look good. He looks like he's about ready to cry. But knowing what we know about him, that he has had, success before, so he can play this game at this level. Are we going to make an offer to the Patriots, or are we going to keep driving? So let's say we might be able to get him to like the Browns, as a rumor, get him to a different team, get him to a different system, clear the air, put him in a new environment. He's shown that he's got the skills to be successful at the NFL level with his rookie year. Something happened last year with the crap fest that he was served for dinner, and he just threw up for the next 2 years.
Right.
Are we going to make an offer for Mac Jones at this yard sale?
I mean, if you're looking at it from a Mac Jones aspect, it might be better for him in some ways. He might have a little bit more room to breathe, a little bit ability to grow, because whatever it is that's stifling him will theoretically be removed regardless of where they stick him.
Right.
For the Patriots, that might not be such a good thing. He really is. He has a lot of potential. I can still see potential in the kid. It's a shame to let that go to waste.
If the Patriots end up with a number 3 draft pick, they could end up with either Drake May, or they could end up with a dude from USC at quarterback.
Which might be better for us too. So as much as I hate to say it, it looks like he might be.
Don't think of it as a Patriots perspective. Think of it as you running a team, basically starting from scratch. Let's say that we are a new franchise, right? Are we going to put in a bid for Mac Jones?
Sure.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. Would I put it in a bid thinking? Would I put it in a bid? I don't know if I'd put in a bid thinking he's the starter, but I'm putting in a bid thinking, hey, we got somebody that's at least a solid backup.
Right.
All right. So I would put in a bid there. Now, standing next to Mac Jones is Ezekiel Elliott. Now, in the past, I have bashed Elliott quite a bit with his 3.1 yards per game. This year, in his limited time, he's averaging 4 yards per carry, which is basically the standard for running backs now. Yeah. Right? That's where they want you at. He's got a couple touchdowns, right? He catches the ball out of the backfield from time to time. Would you, if you saw Ezekiel Elliott standing in front of the Patriots household in their yard sale, would you stop and be like, maybe I'll take it, I'll go and give an offer for Ezekiel Elliott? Or would you keep driving?
I would keep driving. He has the ability to be a really explosive player, and he just doesn't.
He's gone downhill the last couple of years.
I distinctly remember all last season, at the beginning part of the season when he was on the Cowboys, you saying he needed to earn his paycheck. what was he doing? He wasn't earning his paycheck. And but that's been true.
Right?
Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie. Yeah, I completely agree.
I would pass him up.
I'd probably pass him up.
Yeah.
I'd probably pass him up. Let's keep driving. Let's jump back in the car. Let's jump back into the Chevy Trax that we have. And, it gets good gas mileage, so we can keep driving as long as we need to. Carolina Panthers are the next household up. The Carolina Panthers. Standing outside, you see a nice, young, healthy Bryce Young at quarterback. He has the third worst passing offense in the game.
Yeah. I didn't know their quarterbacks. I didn't know their quarterback's name, if that tells you.
Oh, my God.
He's left no impression whatsoever.
So you're just going to, you're not going to give an offer for them?
No.
All right.
Pass that kid.
Standing next to Bryce Young, who doesn't interest you, you've got wide receiver Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is currently having a pretty damn good year, given the fact that he's on one of the worst offenses in the league, right? Yeah. He leads. He's got a team leading, projected to finish with over 1,100 yards and 6 touchdowns. Okay. Downside, he's 33 years old. Upside, he's a veteran presence that can still put out numbers.
Yeah.
Are you going to make an offer, or are you going to keep driving?
I would actually make an offer there because I think that would be good, especially since we're talking about an imaginary starting team, to get that veteran influence on there. Somebody that has, even if it was you only got a couple more years out of him, I think that'd be a worthy investment for anybody trying to start somewhere.
You know what? I agree. I concur with that. Absolutely. I would pick up Adam Thielen as a veteran presence, and someone that can still put up good, solid numbers.
Yeah.
All right. So Adam Thielen's in the trunk. All right, good. So we got one to go with Mac Jones, right?
To go with Mac Jones.
To go with Mac Jones. So Mac Jones now has Adam Thielen. All right. Next up, we're going to the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, and standing out front is the pride and joy 26-year-old Kyler Murray. Now, rumors about this particular Kyler Murray, he's been in an accident before, needed noticeable repair, but currently runs pretty good.
He does not stay healthy. That would be too big of a concern. I would be scared to take him on as a backup. I feel like he'd get out there and get injured in the same game, and then there'd be no quarterbacks left to play.
Here's the thing about the quarterbacks that I want. I want them to be able to at least see their wide receivers past their linemen. The only time Kyler Murray can see his short, fast wide receivers is when he scrambles outside of the pocket.
Right.
Other than that,
you got to be able to have a passing game.
Absolutely. So we're not stopping at the Arizona Cardinals yard sale.
No.
We're not stopping. All right. Next up is the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings have not one, but 2 quarterbacks out on their front lawn. We're looking for a starting quarterback. Let's see what happens. First off, they've got Josh Dobbs. Dobbs has shown little small spurts as a starter, playing well. But overall, this season, he has been a very, very disappointing experience as a team that owns him. So he did not have he was like 1-7 or 1-8 with the Cardinals, right? He showed up. He was a new face. He was a new spark for Minnesota, but I think his true colors just showed out the other day against the Bears, and he couldn't do anything. He reverted back to being a horrible backup.
Yeah.
Right?
But that was an ugly game.
But he stays healthy. He stays healthy. So are we going to make him compete for the backup job with Mac Jones, or are we going to move on to the next option that they have?
When he first stepped in this season as the main quarterback for the Vikings, They spiked up and did pretty well for a while there. So he definitely has some
like 2-3 weeks.
potential. I think there have to be some kind of maybe correction with his morale, whatever the issue is that makes him nosedive so hard like he did in the Bears games. But I think he'd be okay as a backup. I would prefer him over the next option, which if you want to tell our audience who that is.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Because the next option standing right next to him is quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Who currently doesn't run right now.
Yeah.
But ran pretty well when he was healthy. All right. He was playing really good when he was healthy.
Yeah. He doesn't stay
Do
healthy,
we
though.
give him, but the offer doesn't have to be high. He's going to be coming off an ACL, right? He's going to be coming off a torn ACL. But healthy, he played pretty well.
I think his success has more to do with the Vikings offense, which is fairly decent in all reality, even without Justin Jefferson playing right now. So I don't know that I would give him enough credit on his own. I don't think I'm a Kirk Cousins fan.
You're saying if you put him on a mediocre team with not so good, like if he was on the Patriots right now, you don't think he'd play at the same level?
No.
You're saying he needs that superstar to be able to throw the ball up to.
Yeah, it's not at all like a Mahomes Kelsey where it's both of them that are equally making the dream team work.
Our fictional franchise just picked up Adam Thielen, who used to be with Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
I don't know. Maybe it's even a personal
Adam's asking for him.
I don't like Kirk Cousins. If I was going to pick one of them, I would pick Josh
Kirk Cousins,
Dobbs
like the nicest guy
to Mac Jones. I know. I've seen the commercial.
But he's a nice Kirk Cousins. But he's a nice Viking. I love it. All right. All right. So we're moving on from the Minnesota Vikings yard sale. Last yard sale on the block that's open today, the Chicago Bears, who will currently have the number 1 pick in next year's NFL draft. The question is, they have put out quarterback Justin Fields on their front lawn. Fields, injury prone, turnover prone, but is very exciting to watch in small samples.
See, you can't play short bursts in professional football and do well. You got to be able to play for the long haul. So the small samples might be impressive to watch, but they're not going to help out in a big game situation.
The 2021
and the turnovers are a huge problem. They make a difference almost every game they play.
The 2021 draft, as far as quarterbacks go, did not turn out very well. Now, Trevor Lawrence, who was drafted number 1 overall, turned out pretty damn good so far for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But after that, you had Zach Wilson, who's currently can't even start for the Jets. You've got Trey Lance, who's not starting at all because he stinks. You've got Justin Fields, who's injury prone and turnover prone.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mac Jones, who was the last of the 5 quarterbacks picked in the first round by the New England Patriots. Yeah. So 4 out of 5 as of right now are busts.
Yeah.
Busts. These were the top quarterbacks coming out of college football into the NFL in 2021. And 4 out of 5, you can say right now, are busts.
It kind of be like that sometimes. Maybe not this large of a scale, but there is a very big difference in play from NFL, professional, adult level football to college. They even have different rules and stuff. And some people make that adjustment and just really shine. Like I think CJ Stroud is doing really well, especially given the team he got stuck on.
Oh, yeah.
When he was drafted.
The Texans? So great game coming up this week, by the way, for the Texans. If they can actually beat the Broncos, both teams playing very, very well right now. Yeah. Broncos are on their win streak. We'll talk about that here in a second. But, I mean, the winner of that game should be able to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. Like crazy. All right. So that's it for yard selling this week. We picked up an Adam Thielen and a backup Mac Jones, more out of sympathy than anything, but we still don't have a starter. So we're probably looking for the draft for that. Next week, maybe we'll go shopping for running backs. We'll see what's out there. All right. What's next?
Second quarter, week 12 schedule.
Week 12 schedule. Bye. The bye week this week: Bills, Bears, Raiders, Vikings, Giants, Ravens. Holy crap.
Yeah, that's a lot.
6 teams, 3 games off the schedule. Let me tell you something. I did my fantasy stuff today, and the first team that I had, I'm like, oh, Josh Allen has a bye week. All right, let me scroll down and see who my backup is. Shit, it's Mac Jones. So yeah, I had to go and pick up another quarterback. I think I found Geno Smith, which even though he's got a tough matchup this week, he'll do better than Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Like my Mac Jones fanometer, it went from like 3 weeks ago where I was like, give him a shot, he's doing okay, to like, I'm just like, is he still here?
Yeah, he needs to spend some time as a backup, maybe.
If he can just come out and throw, just have like one game where he throws 300 yards, give him 2 to 3 touchdowns and maybe 1 interception, and we'll call that a decent game. Right? But right now, like, we're not even getting close to those standards. Not even freaking close. I mean, even the Patriots defensive players are getting pissed off. They're like, we have allowed a total of 10 points in the last 2 games.
Yeah.
And we lost both games.
Yeah, I'd be upset too. They're doing their job.
They're like, I guess we can't allow any points at all if we plan on winning.
Yeah. It's a good example of how sometimes when you go out there and you get those big names that you think are going to put up a lot of numbers, it can fizzle and fall flat, like Juju Smith and Ezekiel Elliott.
All right, so Thursday Night Football, we got the Seahawks at 6-5 at the Dallas Cowboys at 8-3. This is a tough matchup for Seattle to come down into Jerry's world. Very tough matchup. I do not see them pulling out a win in this game. As a matter of fact, I see them getting blown out. The upside to this, Jackson Smith and Jigba, who grew up as a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, basically say that he's playing in front of his home crowd. You know, he'll probably have some family members there. I hope he has a solid game. We're cheering for him. But, yeah, God, I don't see it happening. I've got my DFS breakdown for this game, like in detail, coming up in the next quarter. Sunday slate, the 11 a.m. schedule, the Colts, led by Gardner Minshew and Zach Moss, apparently, at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have been one of the most probably disappointing teams in the league this year. They're 4-7.
They've got what they need driving their offense. They're just not using him right. If you ask me, they're wasting CJ's.
How do you have DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver and a stud running back, and you can't move the damn ball?
Right.
I don't understand it.
Right.
All right. Next game, Chargers at 4-7 are probably very happy that they're traveling to New England to take on the New England Patriots. Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers, is like, finally, we need a break. We finally get a break. We get to play the Patriots. Said no Chargers head coach in the last 20 years. But this year, they're happy they're playing the Patriots this week. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Patriots are terrible right now. Upside, they've got a great freaking draft pick if they continue to lose. So, like, yeah, it'd be nice to see them win. But with every win, they get a worse draft pick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't throw the game, but it's okay if you lose. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you. Right? I mean, at this point, we're far enough into the season to just be like, you know what? Bug it. Just keep it rolling. We'll start over next year.
I don't know if Bill Belichick is going to be around next year. I'm saying yes, but like, wow, this is a shit show.
It is.
I'm just I can't do it. Lions, your favorite team to cheer for, at the New Orleans Saints, who are 5-6 and struggling. Chris Olave, stud wide receiver, questionable for this game already. So you don't even know if the Saints are going to have their number one. Lions are going to have everybody coming into town. That should be a lock. I'm going to see if I can get to it before you. All right. Falcons 5-6 at the Jets. Jets. Week 1, if this was the matchup, I'd say Jets all day. Right now, I don't even know who the hell the quarterback is for the Jets this week.
Right.
Like, I have no clue the hell their quarterback is. Is it the same guy from last week?
They might not even know who it's going to be yet. They've been kind of all over the place with that.
I can easily see the Falcons going into New York, or excuse me, Rutherford, New Jersey, and pulling off the win against the Jets, but I don't know if I'm going to lock that one in. I doubt it.
Yeah.
Here's a lock. The Arizona Cardinals at 2-10 heading to Pittsburgh to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what? The Steelers are better than I thought they were going to be this year.
Yeah. And they didn't start strong. So it was like a sneak attack a little bit. Came up out of nowhere, and then you're like, oh, crap. Maybe I should have been watching them earlier.
Do you give the Cardinals any shot at all in winning this game? No. All right. Look for them to be mentioned by one of us on our locks in the next quarter. Speaking of locks,
the Panthers.
The 8-3 Miami Dolphins at the 4-8 Commanders. The Commanders, every game, their defense, it feels like their defense gives up at least 1 to 2 40 to 50 yard receptions.
Yeah.
And this is the wrong team to come into town if that's what you're known for. If you're known for giving up big plays,
they're going to
number
make the
one
big plays.
team for big plays is coming to see you.
Waddle or
Dolphins at the Commanders. We mentioned this one a minute ago. The Broncos, red hot Broncos at 6-5 at the Texans. Texans did have a loss, but they're still playing very good. Both teams 6-5. You can expect the winner of this game to be in the wild card hunt. This one's a 50-50 ball for me. 5 weeks ago, I would be saying how much the Broncos suck and they can't do anything. But then again, 5 weeks ago, I was probably saying the same thing about the Texans.
Yeah.
Until they got hot. So this is going to be a good game. The 2:05 p.m. slate Mountain Standard Time, you got the 1-10 Carolina Panthers at the Buccaneers. I think this is the game that the Buccaneers absolutely need to win. Like, just for morale purposes. Their season is pretty much done. They're not going to be a playoff team. I picked them to finish second in their division behind the New Orleans Saints, and nobody is playing well in that division outside of the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, who are 5-6. So, I mean, they still have a shot at making the playoffs, but God, this is going to be one of those. I have a feeling that the NFC South is going to be won by a team who does not have a winning record. And they're going to go to the playoffs.
The way that they're all looking, it might have to be that way.
This is terrible. All right. Perhaps the game of the week is a 2:25 p.m. start. The San Francisco 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 10-1. 49ers are 8-3. Well, let me tell you something. They had that stretch where they lost like 3 in a row, right? The 49ers, 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, oh, this is the real Niners. And no. That was the injured Niners.
Yeah.
They did not have one of their number one weapons in Deebo Samuel. Those are the only games they lost, are the games that he missed.
Yeah.
He's not missing this game.
Yeah.
I like the Niners in this matchup going into Philadelphia. I like it a lot. All right. Sunday Night Football, 6:20 p.m. Also, decent game. Chiefs, 8-3 at the Jordan Love-led Green Bay Packers, 5-6. Jordan Love's turned it on the last couple of weeks. Last 3 weeks. Their offense has opened up. He's throwing the ball downfield more and more. Does that mean I have faith in him? Hell no. It does not mean I have faith in him.
Not
No.
against the Chiefs.
I am out of love with love. I said that, and then he started playing good, which basically happens with your ex, right? They treat you like trash. They look like trash. As soon as it's over, they do everything they can to look better to make you regret leaving them. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. All right? He's an ex. He's out of my life. That's it. Moving on. I'm taking the Chiefs in that game. I'm pretty sure you will too. Absolutely. All right, Monday Night Football. Bengals at 5-6 at the Jaguars at 8-3. Do you give the Cincinnati Bengals, with all of their offensive weapons that they have, they still have a lot of offensive weapons, but they have Browning at quarterback. Do you give them a shot at going into Jacksonville and beating the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I don't think so. Jaguars are another one of those teams that like snuck around out there and got really good this year.
Yeah. I mean, they were decent last year too. They made the playoffs, but I'd have to go with the Jaguars this week.
Yeah.
Which brings us to what's next? There would be third quarter.
Oh, there it is. Third quarter locks of the week.
I'm going to need you to focus. I'm going to need you to focus a little bit, just a little bit. I know we're both tired. I did some Coke before the show, so I'm a little bit more, up than you. You can't because it's not.
Joke. People take you too serious.
You can't have it because it's not gluten-free cocaine. I'm searching. All right, I'm searching for it. All right, I'm searching for two things: keto-friendly cocaine, because everything's keto-friendly. So I need a keto-friendly cocaine. I need gluten-free cocaine. If you can combine those two, we're in. Just hit us up. No problem. All right. What's this number calling me? Mexico? What? Who the hell keeps calling me from Mexico? All right. Moving on. Locks of the week. Now, you won last week. You finished 5-1 last week. I was 4-2. So that means that I get first pick, but we're doing the primetime games first.
Yes.
I'm taking the Cowboys on Thursday night. Do you concur with that statement?
I am actually going to go really wild on this one. I'm going to say the Seahawks, because this is the kind of situation when the Cowboys lose. And also, I just want the Seahawks to win.
Bet with your head, not your heart, sweetie. All right, next up, Sunday Night Football. So we're getting the primetime games out of the way. Chiefs at Green Bay.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Chefs. The Chefs. Great oogly googly.
Great googly moogly.
Chefs. You got the Chefs? I got the Chefs.
Yep.
All right. Monday Night Football, Bengals at Jags. I'm taking the Jags. I mean, it's low-hanging fruit. I just don't see Browning as the starter that they need him to be.
I got to say Jaguars, too.
All right. So I get first pick from the rest of the land of misfit toys here. Let's see. What do I want? Do I take the Lions? I'm taking I'm going to take the Dolphins. I'm going to leave your team alone and I'm going to give you that one. I know, but if you don't take them on this one, I'm taking them on the next one. Just letting you know.
No, I'm taking them.
All right, so you're taking the Lions.
Take the Lions.
All right, so I'm up next. Let's go with. I'm going to take Tampa Bay hosting the Panthers. I've got the Buccaneers.
Okay, I will take the Steelers over the Cardinals.
That's why Cardinals fans don't like you. All right.
Low-hanging fruit.
Wow, that is speaking of low-hanging fruit. I'm going to take the Chargers. I'm going to take the Chargers over our Patriots. I don't expect the Patriots to win. I just want it to be close. Can we put up, more than, 7 points in a game? Right. Our offense just sucks. There's two things that I can guarantee in this game. Whoever's quarterback is going to throw at least one interception. All right. And Mac is going to get a sack. All right. For San Diego or the Los Angeles Chargers. All right. Those are the two guarantees. Those will be my best bets for Sunday for that game. whoever the Patriots quarterback is going to throw an interception, and the Chargers are going to get multiple sacks. I'm putting down Mac for at least one. Who's your final pick?
My final pick, I'm going to take the Falcons over the Jets.
Taking the Falcons over the Jets. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. All right. So nobody picked. Let's see. Yeah, the 49ers Eagles. Nobody wanted to be daring enough to go after that game. All right. Well, since we picked,
I would like to see the Niners win, but I think it's probably going to end up being the Eagles.
I think the Niners can pull this one off.
They're capable of it.
I think the Niners can pull this one off. I like the Niners in that game. And they better freaking show it on TV. God,
right?
Could you imagine? Let's just think back at the beginning of the season when YouTube came out and said, we want hundreds of dollars. It was like
$500 to start, and then it was still close to $100 a month.
But let's say that we said yes to that to watch the Patriots this year.
Right? I would have been like, all right, give me Brady and the Patriots every week. I need a check.
Yeah.
You guys owe me for the money I spent to watch this.
Thank God we did not get that package. Oh my God. If we actually sat through that, we would be so depressed.
It's hard enough to watch the highlights sometimes without being like, ugh.
All right, so that's the locks of the week. What's next? Well, wait a minute. No, run down the picks before we do that.
Oh, I got to bring them back up on my phone.
Yeah, bring them back up. Who do I got? Who do you got?
All right, so you picked Cowboys, Chiefs, Jaguars, Dolphins, Buccaneers, and Chargers. I have picked Seahawks, Chiefs, Jaguars, Lions, Steelers, Falcons.
All right. So I'm cheering for the Cardinals this week. Awesome. All right. Jesus Christ. What's next?
Fourth quarter, best bets and DFS builds.
All right. I'm telling you, play DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports. I'm telling you to do that. I'm even going to give you the breakdown for tomorrow night's game. Like, break it down exactly why I'm picking who I'm picking to where you won't have a choice but to play this team that I have put together. So let's look at the fantasy points per game allowed by position for these two teams. Let's start out with quarterbacks. The Cowboys are ranked 8th. They give up 15.7 fantasy points per game. The Seahawks are ranked 17th. They give up almost 2 points more per game to quarterbacks. Running backs. The Cowboys are ranked 8th at 11.5 fantasy points per game. The Seahawks, almost down there at the very bottom, they are ranked 29th in fantasy points per game allowed to running backs. Wide receivers, the Cowboys are ranked 4th at 15.6 fantasy points per game. The Seahawks are ranked 21st at 21.7 fantasy points per game. Tight ends, the Cowboys are ranked 24th. There's a weakness. The Cowboys are ranked 24th, but they only give up 7 fantasy points per game. The Seahawks are ranked 9th at 4.7 fantasy points per game. Let's talk about kickers. The Cowboys ranked 2nd. They only give up 4.8 fantasy points per game to kickers. The Seahawks ranked 15th, 8.5 fantasy points per game. Ranked 15th at 7.9 fantasy points per game. I jumped ahead. For defense and special teams, the Cowboys are ranked number 1. They allow the least amount of points to defense and special teams. That means they don't turn the ball over. They very rarely allow sacks. They don't fumble the ball. They don't throw interceptions. Okay? They don't allow kick returns.
Important things to have on your team.
Very important things to have. All right. So they are ranked 1st. The Seattle Seahawks, right in the middle of the field, they are ranked 15th at 8.5 fantasy points per game. So who has the most per position? Bringing it back. The Cowboys, at quarterback, the Seattle Seahawks allow 17.6 points per game. At running back, The Seattle Seahawks allow 18.8 fantasy points per game. At wide receiver, the Seattle freaking Seahawks allow 21.7 fantasy points per game. At tight end, the Cowboys, their weakness, allows 7 fantasy points per game. At kicker, the Seahawks allow 7.9 fantasy points per game, and they also allow 8.5 fantasy points per game to defense and special teams. But I will tell you this, they haven't played a defense like this. This defense is far better than any competition they've gone against thus far. This is trouble. So let me build you a winning team. We're starting out with a running back. We're taking Pollard for the Dallas Cowboys. Big price tag, not the biggest price tag, but a big price tag at 14.7. Then I'm going to add I need some cheap. I need some cheap plays here if I'm going to fit in some more good players. So I'm going to add the Cowboys defense and special teams at 5,600. Remember, they have the advantage. Seahawks allow more points to defense and special teams. At tight end, I got another cheap player. Tight end Noah Fant for the Seahawks. For the Seahawks, you need to have at least one player from each team on your lineup. You can't just do everybody on one team. All right, so this was a good opportunity for me to sneak in a tight end, Noah Fant, for Seattle. At wide receiver, I've got a couple of them. I've got Michael Gallup for the Cowboys at 3,800. Again, cheap, but can put up some numbers. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys at 11.4. I expect him to have a very big game this weekend. A very big game. And, of course, if he's going to have a big game, I will also add quarterback Dak Prescott at $11,000. That pretty much eats up the majority of the money allowed. I think I did a pretty damn good job putting it together based on strengths and weaknesses per team. Now, I've got a single game parlay that I have out there. I think it's at plus 475, 485. It's a 3-pick single game parlay. I've got CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown. I've got CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions, which means he catches at least 7 balls. And I've got Tony Pollard catching the ball out of the backfield for at least 20 yards. So I've got the over 19.5 receiving yards for that. That's at plus 475, right? That means if you bet $10, you basically win about $57. All right. So it's a nice little pick. If you bet $100, Merry Christmas. Just saying. All right. Buy me something. Just saying. I gave it to you. Throw me a bottle of Jack or something. All right. Best bets. One-time bets. I got CeeDee Lamb. I'm sticking with that. Over 6.5 receptions again. I think he's going to have a hell of a game. I think 6.5 receptions for him. I can see him going to double-digit receptions for this game. So I got CeeDee Lamb over 6.5 receptions. And the other one I've got the Dallas Cowboys. This is a first half best bet at minus 6.5. I see them going into halftime up a touchdown easily. All right. What's next?
Overtime conference championship weekend.
All right. Hey, college football is going on this weekend. Not sure if you knew that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 conference championships we're talking about this weekend, starting with the SEC Conference Championship. Number 1, Georgia against number 8, Alabama. Bulldogs have a top 10 passing offense. UGA converts on third down over 57% of the time. Georgia's currently being favored by 5.5. I don't know if they're going to cover the 5.5, but I definitely have them winning this game. Pac-12 championship, maybe the final Pac-12 championship, but it's a doozy. You got Oregon at Washington. Now, look, having covered Arizona State out here for the season, both of these teams are really good. But let me tell you something. I was impressed with Bo Nix. Granted, he was going up against Arizona State, threw for almost 400 yards and 6 touchdowns in the first half, and then they benched him in the second half. He threw almost 400 yards and 6 touchdowns. Holy cow. Now, granted, Washington is not Arizona State. Matter of fact, I think Washington is ranked higher than Oregon, but I've got Oregon walking away with this one. Oregon, by the way, is 9-2-1 against the spread this season. So if you're making a bet on that game, look at the spread. Take Oregon in the points. All right, ACC championship. Florida State -2.5 going up against Louisville. No Jordan Travis. You got Tate Rodemaker as quarterback for Florida State. Jordan Travis is hurt, and he is out, and he is done for the season. Let me tell you something, though. Florida State's defense, like, there's no reason why that defense can't dominate against Louisville. The biggest upset and the biggest monkey wrench in the college football playoff for the Final Four would be if Louisville takes out Florida State. Like, that's the game. If that happens, so many people are going to be so happy because they think that Florida State's schedule, because Florida State's gone undefeated, right?
Yeah.
As far as strength of schedule goes, so they haven't really played anybody. The ACC sucks. It does. But unfortunately, because if they go undefeated and win the championship for the ACC, there is no way in hell you cannot have a Power 5 champion not in the Final Four in the college football playoff. No way. You just can't. You can't. But if they lose, that could open the door to the Big 12 winner, which I project to be Texas, as Texas is going up against Oklahoma State. Now, Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship, they've got a solid running game. Their only hope is to control this clock. Their only hope, but I could see Texas offense going through the air pretty easily in this game. I don't think that rushing attack is going to be enough to be able to slow them down. I got Texas in that game. And then the game everybody wants to see, but not really, because you pretty much already know what the hell's going to happen. It's the Big Ten championship. Michigan at Iowa. Michigan has the number 2 defense in the land. Iowa does have the number 8 defense. So right now, knowing nothing about these teams, Lady M, you got the number 2 defense versus number 8 defense. Sounds like it's going to be a pretty damn good game, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me water that down a little bit, because Iowa is dead last. Let me say this again. Iowa is dead last out of 130 schools in offense.
Waste. It's a waste. It's a waste to have a number 8 defense if your offense can't in the FBS. Anything.
Michigan's favored in this game. But just to give you an idea, Blake Corum, Michigan's running back, has 22 total offensive touchdowns. Iowa, as a team, as a whole, this season only has 20 touchdowns on the entire season. No way in hell Michigan doesn't win this game.
Yeah.
No way in hell Michigan does not win this game. So my Final Four picks, my picks that I see going to the college football playoffs, Georgia, I got Oregon, obviously Michigan, and unfortunately, sorry Texas fans, Florida State's going to beat Louisville. And again, you have to put them in the Final Four as an undefeated conference champion in the Power 5. You have to put them in the Final Four. There's no way they can be. But if Louisville wins, Texas, in my opinion, is going to go, because I've got Texas taking down Oklahoma State. That's pretty much it. That's the show. Let me tell you, though, if you've missed any of our past shows, you can listen to them on heroesmediagroup.com. You can listen to them on Spotify, and you can catch the replay, especially the video replay, on our site, CoachJeffDemers.com. Lady M, you got anything for us?
Nope.
All right. Lady of little words. That's what it is. All right. Again, make sure you check us out on those websites. Until then, keep loving sports, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you on our basketball show on Friday. We're talking in-season tournaments. Catch you later.